Hello fellow Jerrycans. So I just got back from watching The Batman. No, not the forgotten animated show from the 2000s, the new movie starring Edward. So here are my thoughts on it, and I have to say it was pretty good, but with some serious issues. Now I think I've never said this on a video yet, but Batman is one of my favorite franchises of all time. If I were asked what my 3 favorite franchises were, I would answer Batman, Star Wars, and Pokemon, and Batman I like the most out of the 3. Yep, that's right, despite that, I've made only Star Wars and Pokemon videos and yet to make a Batman video. Well, a review of the movie sounds like a good place to start. Anyways, I love Batman. I love Batman cartoons. I love Batman comics. I collect shit ton of comics as well. I read almost every major Batman story, runs like Grant Morrison's, even the really shitty Tom King run. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about if you know what I'm talking about. So needless to say, I'm into Batman. So, I have really high expectations and really wanted this movie to be good. Also, the most recent live action movie that had Batman in it that I liked is from 2008. Every Batman starring movie after that have been meh to fucking god awful, so I've been dying for a good solo Batman movie. Anyways, so did Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson do a good job? Well, the movie's really long, and the first 2 thirds are really great. I always like seeing Batman doing detective work and trying to solve a mystery. You know, world's greatest detective comics. Batman doing detective work and trying to outsmart his enemies is one of the fundamental elements of Batman stories in my opinion, and that's why I didn't like the fact that there was barely any detective work or mystery solving in the Nolan movies, except for that one scene in Dark Knight where he's shooting bricks for some reason. This movie is all about Batman trying to solve a mystery, a bunch of serial kills done by the Riddler. Seeing Batman and Jim Gordon looking for clues and solving them was the best part about the movie for me, and there are some really cute and funny Batman-Gordon moments despite the dour tone of the movie. There's also really clever riddles and play on words for Batman to solve, and the movie has it so the audience tries to solve the riddle alongside Batman, so it's a fun ride. The cinematography of the movie was really beautiful. Despite the movie and Gotham being very dark because it's about Batman, they use colors like red and orange a lot very effectively in scenes. There are some breathtaking shots that use the color orange to burning fires and sunsets effectively a lot. And this is probably the best looking Batman movie in my opinion. It's really great seeing Batman actually feel and look like Batman in a movie for once. There are some really badass shots of Batman in the movie that fans will like. Also, the movie does a really good job of showing how Batman strikes fear into the heart of criminals. Criminals are a superstitious, cowardly lot and stuff, you know. There are a lot of great perspective shots from criminals that show how Batman really is a creature of the night and why criminals are scared of him. The cast also does a very good job. Jeffrey Wright was pitch perfect as Jim Gordon, the sidekick to Batman. I guess Mr. Wright is just an expert at playing best friend of dark heroes. Zoe Kravitz was also excellent as Catwoman. I actually liked her above Anne Hathaway. There are some really nice scenes of her and Robert as Batman, and there are some really fun sequences with her going underground to dirty bars and clubs disguised in wigs. Colin Farrell is also super fun as the Penguin. His role in the movie isn't too big, but he plays the role very well as the comedic but petty, greedy villain. I like he's not a complete mob boss yet, he's on the footsteps to get there. He's not Penguin yet, he doesn't smoke a cigar or have a monocle, he's just a lackey. This movie is all about setting up the pieces of the Batman mythos, and I like the movie seemed to have restraint, setting up stuff. Speaking of that, let's finally talk about my favorite thing from the movie, and it's Batman. Finally, they've got live action Batman right, and I'm not talking about his design or his suit. I actually don't like his costume design. I'm saying they finally got Bruce Wayne, Batman, the character, right. The past live action Batman movies, even the good ones, I don't know. They never felt like they got Batman right or Batman was a boring fucker compared to his villains. The most revered live action Batman movie, The Dark Knight, Batman is a complete dweeb and boring fucker. Joker and Two-Face made the movie great. Animated movies like Mask of Phantasm, Under Red Hood, and the Lego Batman movie got it right, but in my opinion, this is the first live action movie to get Bruce Wayne Batman as a character right. So the Batman in this movie is young and naive, but a very tired Batman. He's in his second year, he's not really sure why the hell he's even fighting crime, he's a complete wreck, mentally and both physically, and he looks more like a psychopath than the Riddler. I like how they did their best job to make Robert Pattinson look like he's fucking wasted, or a homeless person, despite how handsome he looks in real life, not the shining rich playboy that we usually associate Bruce Wayne with. Now, I've seen a lot of fans not like this decision, and I understand that, but I disagree. Like others, I think when it comes to persona, Bruce Wayne is the mask and Batman is the real person. Polar opposite from Superman, where Clark Kent is the person and Superman is the mask. Anyways, I've always thought that Bruce died along with his parents during that night, and a very angry boy who wants to fight the evil that took his parents' lives, the Batman, was born. And this movie finally got that aspect of the character right. The handsome, suave Bruce Wayne mask hasn't fully developed yet because he's still starting out. But what's also another characteristic of Batman is that he's not just blind rage. Batman is also a being of compassion, not just dumb violence like some people think of. I like how in the movie, Batman thinks he's just pure vengeance. He keeps calling himself Vengeance, like it's a fucking catchphrase or something.
I'm vengeance.
But the movie also shows he's still just a young boy at heart. There's a great scene in the movie where Bruce sees a boy who just lost his parents like he did. And I love how Robert displays his sorrow and care for the boy. Batman wants to be pure vengeance, but he's still human at heart. And I like the movie's message. Seeing him take pity in another orphan child was really great. So, Matt Reeves, can we please have live action Dick Grayson or Robin, please? Why does it seem that all modern Batman directors think Robin is too corny or kid-friendly to put in a movie these days? Or maybe he's saving up for the sequel. Anyways, I like how they make it clear that in the beginning of the movie, he cares nothing except vengeance. He doesn't care about Alfred, he doesn't care about the Wayne Company, he really doesn't care about the Wayne family's legacy or philanthropy, which is a really good starting point for an arc. Batman going from an angry emo kid to realizing that he just can't be blind vengeance all the time and beat crime to death. The movie is really about Batman finding his humanity amongst all this madness in Gotham, finding some purpose in life other than just vengeance. By the end of the movie, I really like the fact that Bruce seemed to realize that and there was a character arc. In my opinion, the story of Batman has always been appealing to generations of people for over 80 years now, because it's such an inspirational tale about how one can overcome tragedy and use that anger and trauma to do good for the world and help people. And this movie is finally the one Batman movie that got the whole point of the character right. He's not just dumb violence and darkness. Next out is some good old Batman doing detective work, buddy cop movie with Jim Gordon, Batman beating up some goons, having a fling with Catwoman. It's quite honestly almost everything I wanted from a live action Batman movie. It's the most comic accurate Batman live action movie to date, and as a Batman fan, I'm very happy I saw it. However, the movie has some downsides and some parts where they could have improved, so I have to get into minor spoilers. I won't talk about major spoilers because I want you guys to enjoy the movie without getting spoiled, so I'll talk about only minor spoilers, things I wouldn't even consider spoilers but some might. So if you don't mind that, you can listen to this minor spoiler section. First of all, I didn't think Carmine Falcone, the stereotypical mob boss, would have such a big role in the movie. He's actually pretty crucial to the fucking plot, so I wish he had more screen time. John Turturro does a great job playing him, but he needed more things to do in the movie. Like, they keep mentioning Bruce's parents' history with Carmine Falcone in the past, how Thomas Wayne saved his life once. Couldn't we actually get a flashback scene showing that, like how he did in Long Halloween, which this movie is taking heavy influence from? Apparently young Bruce met him too as a boy, so couldn't we get some flashback scene with young boy Bruce and Carmine Falcone, like how we got one in the animated adaptation of Long Halloween?
You remind me of my boy. Your pop saved my life. Guess that makes us family.
Speaking of Falcone, there was a great moment in the movie where Bruce Wayne learns that his parents might not have been good people. They might have had mafia connections when Thomas Wayne was entering politics. That should be like a groundbreaking reveal for Bruce. His entire life has been a promise to fight crime that killed his parents, but his parents might have been criminals. It should fuck him up deeply. But when he learns this, in the next scene, Alfred is like, no, your parents were good people, Bruce. Don't worry about it too much. I feel like they could have expanded on this more and drawn it out longer, Batman being unsure and lost. I don't know, just felt like that drama was solved too fast. Lastly, let's talk about my biggest problem with the movie, and sadly, it's the Riddler. I went through an emotional roller coaster with this character, so hear me out. When I first saw the trailers, I was kind of disappointed with his design and his duct tape fetish thing. I wanted the classic Riddler in the green suit with the hat and staff and everything. That is like, riddle me this, Batman! You might say that's too corny for Bond movies, but comics like Zero Year showed that you can have that kind of Riddler while making him a real dangerous threat. But when I saw the actual movie, I began to like him. I liked all the terrifying, scary riddle messages he leaves behind to the police and Batman. He's clearly based off the Zodiac Killer, and I love me some serial killer mystery and BuzzFeed Unsolved True Crime. For the first 2/3 of the movie, I like the Riddler. There's a really nice scene in the middle where Batman has to solve a riddle with a ticking clock and Riddler taunts him. It might have been the most tense scene in the movie. Then unfortunately, I'm sad to report that the Batman 2022 suffers from shitty third act syndrome, aka STAS. Why is it that almost every single blockbuster movie I've seen recently suffers STAS? Eternals, Black Widow, The Matrix Resurrections, No Time to Die, The Kingsman, Wonder Woman 1984, Sonic the Hedgehog, even Spider-Man No Way Home. Why can't you make fucking good final act action set pieces, modern Hollywood filmmakers? Anyways, I thought Riddler's endgame, his final plan, was the most dumbest fucking thing ever. I won't spoil what it is, but they make a great deal about what it's gonna be. They build it up, and when it's revealed, you're like, really? That's it? That's your grand master plan, Riddler? You're dumber than you look. Also, when Riddler and Batman meet face to face, the actor, Paul Dano, gets really hammy and overacts. Why does every actor that tries to play a Batman villain tries to be like Heath Ledger's Joker? You don't need to put in pretentious, overacting, crazy, sicko monologues in every Batman-related movie. He was more scary when he was just being mysterious in the first half of the movie. Riddler just became fucking annoying towards the end. I'm sorry, Paul Dano.
Bro, you gotta go read Court of Owls.
Court of Owls is the best one.
I didn't read Court of Owls.
Good.
Anyways, despite the third act being a bit disappointing, the movie still was good for me. The cinematography was fucking amazing, the supporting cast was great, and it's finally the movie that got Batman as a character right. It's still overall a good movie, and I really like the message of the movie in the end. It's really a movie about Batman, Bruce Wayne regaining his humanity. I also like that Matt Reeves seemed to have a plan and direction for Batman's character to go. The movie's ending clearly sets up a sequel, so I really look forward to where Robert Pattinson's Batman journey goes in the future. So as a first impression review score, I like to give The Batman an 8 out of 10.